Masaba's in the middle. Wednesday here could seal it. Gassman finds Masaba.
It's now Bannon. Bannon with a great ball in. Here's an opportunity. Palmer scores! Liam Palmer has scored for Sheffield Wednesday.
Hello and welcome to Wednesday Tie-Dye Podcast. No game this weekend, so we thought we'd do something a little bit different. We're going to be doing our top threes. We've got various categories to choose from memorable games to top strikers, goals to away days, moments and managers. We've also got a few daft ones thrown in, such as your favourite crisp flavours and pies as well. We have got loads to go through. We might not get through them all, but we'll see how many we can get through throughout tonight's show. Also, I want to stress, before people get in the comments and start kicking off, it is favourite and not necessarily best. And whatever I say goes, basically. So there we go. If you are watching this live, then get involved in the comments with your top threes as we go along. It's not just going to be me. You've heard him laughing already. Matt Johnson's here as well. Matt, how are you going, mate? You all right?
Yeah, not too bad, mate. After that introduction, I'll just let you do this for the next hour and a half. I'll see you later, everybody. Yeah.
No, I was only joking there. I am quite accommodating when it comes to these sorts of stuff. But yeah, I thought it was something a little bit different. You know, top threes. There's some that could, some reminiscing to be done. There's some that could shock people. Maybe there's some absolute tap-ins as well when you get to some of the categories. So like I said, if people want to get involved, do get in the comments, and I will try and read a few of them out. I see Danny's in there already saying hi, mate. Yes, hi Danny. Like I said, let's see how long we go through. I'll read a few of them out. I've got memorable games, favourite goalkeepers, defenders, midfielders, strikers, away days, stadiums, managers, kits, beers, pies, away day boozers. I'm going to leave that one to you, I think, to be honest, Matt. Disappointments. And yeah, a few suggestions from Discord as well. Fast food restaurants, comebacks, turnstiles. That's a niche one. Mascots. That's I've got a few in there, and I like this one. How mental you've gone celebrating a goal. Didn't quite fit on the wheel, that one, but so I think it just says how mental. But yeah, I have got a wheel. People watching on YouTube. Here we go. Look at this. No expenses spared. It's like being on the Wheel of Fortunes here on the podcast. So let's just get straight into it. Let's spin the wheel. Let's see where it's going to land. Let's see what the first one's going to be. That's not how you spin the wheel. It says click to spin. There we go. Even got a little clicky as well.
I was going to say, it's literally smack in front of you written on the screen.
I know. Well, it is, but I've got my camera there as well. What's that one? Oh, got a round of applause as well. Favourite. I'm going to turn that off at some point. I'm going to get rid of that because that is going to do my absolute boxing as we go on. But yeah, favourite goalkeepers then. What have we got to choose from, Matt? What's your favourite goalkeeper top three?
I tried to steer outside of the box here, James, because, I mean, those of you obviously who listen regularly will know, obviously, myself and James often kind of like beforehand, we have a notes app beforehand where we'll share it. And I logged in yesterday fully prepped, ready to put Kieran Westwood, Kevin Pressman straight in there, and saw that he'd nicked both of them. So I thought, right, where can I go with this? I think the three that I put in there, one was Chris Kirkland, one was Mark Crosley, and the other one was Nicky Weaver. Those were the three that I went for. Immediately, my mind raced to more modern day Sheffield Wednesday in terms of Kieran Westwood, because of obviously what he achieved for us. I think the way in which that he played the game and kind of how he represented the club is pretty much how every single Sheffield Wednesday fan would like him to. But I suppose out of the three that I'd put there, my personal favourite of them all is Mark Crosley.
For what? Just for the goal?
The goal is a nice added bonus, to be perfectly honest with you. I liked it because when he rocked up at Sheffield Wednesday, it was right in the twilight of his career. You know, he wasn't in the heady days of when he was at Forest and managed by Clough. He was he won't listen to this anyway. He was rapidly approaching middle age. and looked all sorts of out of shape when he came to us. And it was also the fact that he used to wear tights in the winter, and he used to listen to people. Where my season ticket was on the North Stand at the time, he used to listen to people going absolutely fucking ballistic about him wearing tights. And he also, I remember do you remember the Leicester away game where Chris Brunt scored a screamer, Glenn Whelan scored a screamer, I'm sure Marcus Tugay scored a screamer.
Yes.
There was a goal in that game. I think it was it Ian Hume who scored? There was a deflected goal anyway in that game. I'm sure it was that one where he goes down, and it's one of my favourite categories of goalkeepers falling over when they've got no chance of making a save.
Yes.
You know, like where the ball's clearly going in the back of the net, they've got nothing, but they just fall backwards and hit the deck. I think there's a great shot of him doing that. I also thought that actually, again, I think for kind of similar to what I'd said for Kieran Westwood, he sort of represented a lot of what was Sheffield Wednesday at that time. A lot of try hard, but with not a lot of funds, and usually players who were either really on the up in terms of young, talented players, or players who were past their best. And actually, I thought for the time that he was in between the sticks at Hillsborough, I thought he did a lot. The other honourable two mentions, obviously, Chris Kirkland, I thought was a really good keeper. Very safe pair of hands for us at Sheffield Wednesday. And Nicky Weaver, I think at the time I probably didn't appreciate kind of like the impact that the club had on him. Obviously with him being a supporter of the club and all the rest of it, but I think also kind of like the longevity that he had then post his playing career at Sheffield Wednesday as well. I know he has kind of become labelled with a bit of a stigma of kind of the relegation, and he was in and around the club surrounding kind of two, I would probably argue, underdeveloped goalkeepers in Joe Wildsmith and Cameron Dawson from the perspective of the heights of what we all thought they could get to when they were youngsters. But I think for me, I would feel uncomfortable in my Sheffield Wednesday supporting career if I didn't put him in there, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, we have had quite a lot of goalkeepers now. I mean, mentioned about Mark Crossley and Nicky Weaver that were kind of in their, twilight of their careers. Chris Kirkland is another one, really, coming to the end of their career that we've had. So yeah, I mean, Annie's got in the comments, David Hurst, one game.
Lee Bullen as well.
Yes, do you know what? I am waiting for that day that Pato actually has a game in goal. I don't think it's quite going to work, so I don't think he's going to get as much game time. But you never know if we have a rare game where we've. I don't know. I'm about to say when, because he's going to be on the bench, So if he's on the bench, then you just bring another goalkeeper on, wouldn't you? So he's got to be. Yeah. It's got to be where he's on the pitch and you've got no subs left right at the end of the game where that happens. I don't think it's quite going to work, but it would. I'm sure he's going to play a game in goal for someone. In his career, as you mentioned at the top, Kieran Westwood, Kevin Pressman, and Lee Grant is the one that I've picked out. Favourite, best, it probably merging into both really. I've picked out Kevin Pressman because growing up, he just was the goalkeeper. Like, from my, I was born in '89, so all the way through the '90s, he just was the goalkeeper, from when I can certainly remember, and he just seemed to be like that forever as well. We just didn't have if you didn't know anything different, you're just like, well, Kevin Pressman is just he's just a Sheffield Wednesday goalkeeper. That's all he does. Like, he doesn't do anything else. You can't have anyone else. Nobody plays in goal. It is just him. And then when you see the penalties that he scores, like I love how kind of these kind of obscure Twitter pages just kind of post random stuff, and one of the random things that they like to post is his penalty at Wolves, which if it wasn't for the net would probably still be travelling now. Hit it that hard. Kieran Westwood, I suppose, for some people that are a bit younger, he's probably the similar sort of thing. He was he was just the goalkeeper for so long as well, and. Kieran Westwood's one of those where it's like you don't know what you've got until it's gone. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? You probably don't realise how good he actually was until it came where he wasn't playing, and no idea what. Still to this day, don't know what happened. Do we? Why he was kind of frozen out of the squad, but. And then Lee Grant, just what a goalkeeper he was. Just Mr. Consistent, I thought, Matt, really, with Lee Grant.
That's another one, James, who you were mentioning around kind of Kieran Westwood. You don't know what until it's gone. And I definitely think that applies to Lee Grant. in terms of you look on to then see the career that he went on to have at then Stoke, and then I know Man United, he's a third choice, basically a training kind of keeper. But again, you're not going to get somebody like that in the building if their fundamentals, everything about the way in which that they play a position isn't absolutely rock solid. And he was that for us, wasn't he, for a good number of years.
Yeah, he's now the striker coach at Ipswich. How mental is that? I mean, do you know what? On the face of it, it sounds mental, but if anything, perhaps you do need a goalkeeper as a striker coach, because you're telling the striker, put it there, because as a goalkeeper, you're going to think it's going to go this way. So maybe it's the marginal gains and all that. Maybe it is a smart move. You love that when you look at his clubs he's played for. Derby, Burnley on loan, Oldham on loan. Wednesday, 136 league games. Then it was Burnley, Derby again. Then it was Stoke, and then Man United. A grand total of 0 appearances in 4 years at Man United. As that was 2018. He was born in 83. So how old is he there? 35 when he joined Man United. Yeah, he's just, Man United had him, and obviously Man City have got Scott Carson.
Another Sheffield Wednesday goalkeeper as well, Scott Carson.
Yeah. At one point, there was, perhaps a couple of years ago, three goalkeepers in the Premier League, if you add in Martinez as well for Villa, that have played for Wednesday in goal. But we need to pick a top 3, Matt. What are we going for?
I suppose we're going off in our lifetime, aren't we, here, rather than kind of like and it's favourites. I think we're both in agreement, isn't it? Kieran Westwood's got to be in there. I think in terms of kind of the importance, I'm happy to chuck Kevin Pressman in there and Mark Crosley if you are. But again, otherwise I'll happily go with whatever.
I think I've scared you in the intro. No, I think that's Westwood number 1. We'll go Mark Crossley number 2, and then we'll go Kevin Pressman number 3. Danny's come in and said Chris Woods. It is our kind of, me and you, well, same age, aren't we? So we are similar sort of eras. So Chris Woods was just before my memories, really.
I think also with him as well, you're probably operating at a slightly different level, because we're talking here about, don't get me wrong, really, really good goalkeepers, but we are talking about league and championship level goalkeepers here. When you're talking Chris Woods, you're talking international goalkeepers, and it's a completely different stratosphere and standards that Chris Wood would have been held in. If Chris Wood, say for argument's sake, had played for us between, 2014 and 15, I don't think he'd have been at the club very long. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, you're right. Do you know what he's doing now?
No, I have not got a clue.
He's the goalkeeping coach for the Scotland national team. I think he was also working for USA as well at some point. So
makes a lot of sense. Yeah, it makes a lot of sense, that.
Fair enough. Right, let's get back to the wheel then. I have adjusted it, so we have now no noise. Oh, there we go. I'm still doing it there. Look, right. Let's.
I thought we were about to have the easiest start with memorable games, James. I thought that was about to be the easiest one.
Yeah, no, it wasn't. It just ticked over. Right, we're spinning around, and it's going to land on. Oh dear. Yes. For those audio listeners, it has landed on turnstiles. Best top 3 turnstiles. Then here we go. This is as requested by the Patreon members. To be honest, I don't really have a top 3 turnstile. I don't have the. I'm not superstitious in that sort of way. However. If I did have a top 3, I've certainly not found it, because them turnstiles on the North Stand are fucking tiny. Like, geez, I mean, I'm not small, but I'm not massive. I'm 16 and a half stone, for those that are wondering. And I'm going through the turnstile. I tend to go through, I walk past the cop, and it's like the first or the second, third turnstile there. I mean, there's not many you can go through, to be fair. And I've not found one that's kind of wide enough that you don't have to go breathe in, as you're trying to get through. Now, like I said, I'm 16.5 stone. I know there's a lot of people that are more than 16.5 stone. I'm just wondering how people bigger than me actually get through. Like, it must be a right nightmare. Either that, or they must just know. I mean, them people probably have got their top 3 turnstiles because make it easier to get in. Because, like I said, I have to breathe in a little bit. You sit on the posh side, don't you, Matt? So you've got a plethora of turnstiles to choose from, haven't you, over there?
Big swing doors over on the south stand, mate. Like you just greeted with hors d'oeuvres and a glass of champagne.
I'm surprised it's not revolving doors or even sliding doors. Do you know what I mean? Automatic or anything like that when it's over there. Maybe in a couple of years to come. Maybe.
I've got a couple here. So when you're on the south, go right past the players' entrance, and then you come to about a block of 3 or 4 just before you get to the bottom of the south stand. Like right before you get to the end of the south stand. Any one of those 3 or 4, absolutely golden, because I sit smack on like the halfway line, but those ones have never got a queue. Like everybody, for some reason, always comes right into the middle of the south stand to then go up and then sideways. No. Top tip for anybody who is listening, please just go to the edges and just filter in from there. I tell you my least favourite one. My least favourite one is if you're coming from the Leppins Lane end, the south stand entrance that's there, because on a day where we have got a large crowd, it seems to have been where everybody who has a printed ticket goes, and everybody's fumbling around in the queue trying to get the printed tickets out and trying to figure out where they're going, what they're doing, all the rest of it. Whereas the bottom end of that south stand doesn't have any. I used to like going in the Leppins Lane end when I had a season ticket on the north. I used to like going in the Leppins Lane end on the north and up the ramp.
Yes.
I used to cry. I don't know why. I think it's my earliest memories of football are very much sort of going in that turnstile, heading down.
You come from that end, don't you? Because you come from the park. So, Park Hotel. So you're already kind of that side, whereas I'm walking down Penistone Road. So, it's a bit of a trek to walk all the way around there. Which
100%.
Do you know what I found that at QPR Loftus Road when I went there? It was in the hospitality, but you're looking on my phone on the map, and I'm like, right, okay. So I walked through this fucking dodgy area as well. I'm like, Jesus, I took a wrong turn here. But instead of, I thought, I'm just gonna walk up this road. It's not too far, but then you don't realise obviously these houses, isn't they, just like literally surrounding the ground. You literally go down people talk about Luton, don't they, being like that? But I think QPR is very, very similar. So I must have walked about, felt like 10 kilometres to actually get to where I needed to be. I should have just walked the opposite way around, because I didn't really know where I was going either. As you to find out which stand it's in. But yeah, that was one where, when I say in there, for me to get to that entrance, a few extra 1,000 steps, which I'm not willing to do. I'll stick to squeezing in and breathing in next time.
I think the other thing as well, when you're looking at turnstiles, I always think again, everybody has their own like kind of pre-match rituals and all of that type of stuff. But again, while we're wandering off down memory lane, I think there's something incredibly kind of like nostalgic about that kind of like when you go to a game, in terms of like the noise of the turnstiles, and whether it's a home match or an away match, it's saying hello. Because I really don't like the automated turnstiles. Like I can give you one of my least favourites now is Wembley. I cannot stand those. Like we've been twice to the new Wembley, and each time it's a huge crush. And then when you get there, it's those huge big gates, isn't it? Those like higher, like 12-foot high kind of like gates.
Matt, are you one of them people that when you go to Morrison's or insert any other supermarket, you detest going to the what do you call it, the self-serve ones? I've got to go and see a person.
Self-checkout, God no. I think it is just something to do with football. I quite like that, like the person who is there, because the other thing is as well, like when I remember, like the last time obviously we went to Wembley for the Barnsley game, there was just a sea of people all rushing to try and get in. I think we got in 40 minutes or something like that before kick-off, half an hour. We were for myself and my dad, we were early. And the queue of people trying to get in. And if you got to the front, and it was like printed tickets. So again, if your barcode doesn't scan the first time, people are just expecting you to go through. So everybody kind of moves forward and shuffles forward. And you can feel just 100 people's eyes just dagger in the back of your head, and then it takes somebody to come over and have a realise, oh, they're having a nightmare here.
Yeah.
Away grounds, I will say, from a nostalgic point of view, I really like QPR. If you're going to do a modern ground in terms of turnstiles, I don't think you will find a better system than MK Dons. MK Dons away, it is seamless, absolutely seamless in terms of getting into the ground, getting your ticket scanned. It's like it's just basically like a little revolving turnstile, like literally just like a gate. It's so simple, and it just means that, you know, for the twice that we've played down there in recent memory, in terms of we've taken 5,000-6,000, it means everybody gets in really quickly and everybody gets away really quickly. And I think you go to so many more modernised stadiums where actually that queue of people and that sea of people being left out of turnstiles is still very evident. It doesn't matter really, because you've got a load of people trying to get into one particular venue. But I do think MK Dons have cracked it really well in terms of that respect.
Fair enough. I'm not. We're not going to go through top 3 turnstiles. I'm not going to get you to memorise which one it is. X52. It's like buses, isn't it? You know, if people just tuned in, they'll be thinking, "What the fuck are they talking about?" But anyway, right. Let's go on to the next one. Then let's see what the next one's going to be. You can see these. Lots and lots to choose from. The next one is, where's it going to stop? It's going to stop on your favourite topic there, Matt. Away day boozers. Yeah, I'm going to leave this one to you. To be fair, I mean, I don't go to many away games. The ones I do go to, well, this season's been the 2 cup games, you know, the ones we've won, ironically enough. But when, you know, I tend to go with Steve, and he has got the weakest bladder in the entire world. And he'll not be annoying me saying that, because it is that I've never seen someone have 1 pint and piss about 7 pints after. I don't know how the hell he does it. You know, if he has one, it's literally before the game, kick at half time, and after as well. And that's not drinks; that's times going to the toilet. But so yeah, it's very rare that we actually have a bit of a piss up beforehand. But yeah, I can see you've put a few ones in there.
Yeah, I've put a few. The one that I missed out was, what was that Weatherspoons before Wembley when we played Barnsley? You were in there as well. Do you remember the one at? Oh my God! Do you remember what it was called?
Yeah, no, I don't. What stop was that? Was that on now? Where we? It wasn't Covent Garden, was it?
No, it wasn't Covent Garden. It was. Well, I'll come back to that just for anybody who is listening. I'll rattle through mine while you're doing a search.
Go on then.
We've mentioned QPR a few times. Belushi's is the only away pub that is at QPR that is in Shepherd's Bush. It is literally smack outside the tube station. Everything that you could want apart from the drinks prices. I'm a big fan of Charlton. They have the Angustine Hotel at Charlton, which is a huge, big hotel. Sort of, there's not much in it apart from a big wraparound bar. But they put like a buffet on. It's the closest away pub that you'll get to kind of like walking distance from Charlton, unless you're going to go drink at London Bridge. From the first time that we went to Wembley, I thought the Green Man, I was in the Green Man before that game, and that was outstanding. Like one of the best pre-game atmospheres that we've had.
We tried to get there, but I got wind that it was absolutely rammed. So we're like, we'll bail on that one, and then we ended up on that grassy triangle where there was no other one on there, and you turn around again and absolutely rammed. And it's just such a shame that you couldn't, you know, when we went for the Barnsley game, it was like a no drinking area. Obviously, that was after the Euros, weren't it? Really, where it all kind of kicked off, ruined it for absolutely everyone. But yeah, that was that was a really, really a good place to be in. This is a really good vibe. I think we're probably going to be getting onto that, maybe potentially in one of the other categories a little bit later on. But yeah, I was heading there and just didn't get a chance to get there.
Yeah, I agree. And then the other two are more north outside of London. One was the Witton Arms. So for anybody who went to Villa Park, when they were down in the Championship. The Witton Arms was a really run-down, ramshackle pub that they divided into home and away, but not many home fans went in there. So home fans went one way when you went in and actually went into an inside bit. Away fans went into this huge big like tent behind the pub. You could get in, but there wasn't much in there in terms of there was a bar and like there was a TV on the wall, like one of the big back box TVs sort of like on the wall. Like it really wasn't like somewhere you'd go and think, oh, this is nice here. Like you went in, you went, oh, this is horrible. But again, pre-game atmosphere in there was really good. And then Dr. Brown's at Middlesbrough away. It's about, I'd say, a 20-minute walk from the station. And they've got a huge sign on, like, when you walk in behind the bar that says, no cards, cash only. And you think, yes, I know exactly what this is for. But that's a big sort of like student pub during kind of like normal Monday through Friday. But again, drinks prices were really cheap. And again, before the game, it was a really, really good pub. I quite like places that are a bit more run down and dishevelled on an away day. So like Millwall last week, like, don't get me wrong, where we ended up was really good and it was really nice and it was a big courtyard and it's right in the centre and you can see the Shard from where you're having your beer and all the rest. It's really, really nice. But I do prefer like more of a sticky floor boozer. I also cannot remember for the life of me the one before York away. There's one where we went into, I think, was it York or no, not York, Lincoln. Sorry, there was one in Lincoln, Weatherspoon. It was a Weatherspoons. It was a version of a Weatherspoons, but it had a really, really low ceiling. That was great in there. Cannot remember for the life of me what that was called.
I'm going to say York's got like a Hollywood Bowl attached to it, hasn't it? Now, which is just bizarre when you're walking in and everyone's just, yeah, let's have a game of 10-pin bowling just before watching York against, I don't know, Boston or whoever it might be. I think that I'm watching a video where I think it's Away Days on YouTube, and he went to, where did he go? Is it Oxford? And that's the same, like there's no pubs, like zero pubs, and everyone's having the pre-match pints again in said Hollywood Bowl, which is just mental when it
same at Bolton. Like. Bolton's the same because it's on that big retail park at Bolton. There's a Hollywood Bowl and there was
TGI Fridays.
There was a Mexican restaurant that was letting you in where basically they had like, it was almost like Spanish salsa music playing out of the speakers, and then like about 1,000 Wednesday fans scattered around some in, like a retail car park, which again was really bizarre. The Beehive at Bolton was the one that was further up, which we went to the first time that we played there towards the back end of the season. I think Berahino might have scored, and then they scored really late on. And then obviously the previous year where we went, the second year where we won 2-0 with, it was George Byers and Liam Barmer who scored. You could not move in there. Like, you could not move in there. It was absolutely heaving. I think it was like 30 minutes to get served. Yeah. But the year before where we'd gone to the Beehive, it was half decent. You could actually get in and get served.
Yeah, I would say I was in there. It's just a trek in it from there to actually get to the ground. It's a lot longer than you think, innit, when you set off. You're fucking miles away. Jordan Story that scored, not Berahino.
Yes.
Right on the. It was a corner that we scored from. It must have been the last corner that we had actually scored from since now. No, I know McGuinness scored one, and I know was it Smith?
Heckler and Smith also last year.
Yeah. So don't at me. I do realise.
It's why I think, James, I always get really puzzled why when away fans come to Wednesday, I know we're not accommodating of away fans around Hillsborough.
Not at all.
No, not at all. But it is also like, when I speak to away fans who have come to Hillsborough and they're like, is there anywhere around here for a beer? And I go, oh no, it's a 15-minute tram back into town and you'll be fine anywhere there. And they go, oh my God, fucking hell. And I'm thinking, hang on, I've been to quite a lot that are like this. There's not many where it's like, like Peterborough, where there's kind of like a couple which you can choose from and they're all within like a little distance of one another and there's no bother and there's no trouble. There are quite a few where it's like, no, you don't drink around here. Like, disappear, go away. We don't want you anywhere near here.
Yeah. I suppose we're not accommodating, but then again, we are when I suppose if you're in town and then you jump on the tram and the tram stops you literally outside the ground. I mean, look, like I said, there's a right trek. Shrewsbury was one that we parked up, like drove past the ground, like a couple of roundabouts and there's a boozer. We only parked there because there was, or went in there, sorry, because there was parking. Might as well have a few drinks in here. And then it fucking lagged it down with rain. Walking to the ground. But to be fair, I think we got there just in time, and then it really did. The heavens did open, and there were people walking in, and I think they just fell in a puddle. They were absolutely pissed.
That was me. Through. That was me. That was my dad going. I was 5 minutes this way, 5 minutes from where we've parked. Got into the ground looking like a fucking drowned rat, and then we went and lost 1-0, and they behaved like they won Champions League final. It's fucking terrible. That.
Well, the time we went was the the season we went up and we won 3-0 with Michael Smith. Did he get a hat trick though?
Yes, he did. Yeah,
did he get a hat trick? 4-0 we won, didn't we? Or something like that. Anyway, it was all
last away game of the season. I think we could still go up, but results,
Yeah, it was all for nothing because, Ipswich won. I found the other one, by the way. I found it ages ago. My Googling isn't that bad. Baker Street is where we were.
That's the one.
And it's the pub is, the Wetherspoons is the Metropolitan.
That's the one. Yeah, that was a good pub. That was a really, really good pub. I mean, I didn't realise when we walked in there how deep it was. Because you went in
massive.
And it was like tiny. And then you went up the stairs and you were like,
it's huge.
This is huge.
If you didn't realise, you wouldn't know. I've got a funny story on that. I went to Mexico with the wife, and we stayed in Playa del Carmen. But the hotel we were staying in, you could use any of the other hotels as well. And they had one in Cancun, so we were like, "I'll just get the bus to Cancun." So we did. It weren't too long. Anyway, we got there, found this hotel, and then went in, and then went into the like where the pool was, and we're like thinking, fucking massive, this hotel. This pool is tiny. And where the fuck is everyone? There was hardly anyone there. Anyway, we're like, went to there's like a little bar and went in there thinking, this can't be it, surely. Anyway, it was lunchtime. So went in to get us lunch, and you could see through the glass windows where the actual pool was. It was fucking massive. It was like, it was just 10 times as big as what you'd think. Everyone, it was like spring break, so everyone's there with the red cups and everything like that. The music's on, and we were sat around the corner thinking, is this it? But,
this is shit.
Thinking we might as well get ourselves off. But very, very similar to that Wetherspoons when you walk in, and if you didn't realise there was somewhere else, you go to the toilet and you think, fucking hell, like, where's this gone? Anyway, have you got a top three if you had to pick?
Again, they kind of come with like caveats of kind of like how good the day was, because I think the twice that I went into the Witten Arms, we won both of them. And again, it's now been changed into an all-home pub, and it's now been decked out massively, and it's now like a really, really nice place to go, and like home fans can't get in there. But again, just for sentimental value, I think I'd probably say Dr. Brown's at Middlesbrough as well. And then we'll be there again later this season in terms of Shepherd's Bush. That Belushi's is really, really good. Yeah, it is one of my favourite ones.
Nice one. Right, let's go to the next one then. What's the next one going to be? Let's find out. Spin the wheel, and we're going to land on... Oh, God, I always hope it wasn't... Yeah, I've not got any for that one. For people listening, it nearly landed on own goals. And if you're looking at the notes, there is none in there. So I really hope it doesn't land on that one. But what it has landed on is kits, which I think is quite a good one. I'll go first. An absolute tap-in is the black third kit from this season. I think it's just, I've said I like the blackout kits. Although, like you said, it's not an actual blackout. If you saw Lincoln when Cadamarchi made his debut the other day, they've got theirs is a blackout. It just looks like the t-shirt I'm wearing today. Like it's only in the light where you can actually see that it's actually a football kit. But the sponsors all black, even the kit manufacturers black, the badges all black threads. But no, that the third kit I think has to go down as one of the best ones that they've made. I'll read another one out of mine, and I'll let you have a stab. I know I mentioned that the 90s weren't really our thing, but the 93 home kit I think is an absolute banger. I think the old kits or the kits from the 90s do quite well anyway, probably because it's like what you said about the pubs. Really, you remember good times in those. And whenever you see, you watch on YouTube, beating United at Wembley and stuff like that in that kit, I think that helps with one of those. I do really like that. The 93 home, just the wide stripes. And then, of course, just Sanderson. Like I just said about Kevin Pressman, was a constant in my youth growing up. Sanderson as a kit sponsor was also a constant. So yeah, let's. I've gone for those two. Which ones have you picked out?
So I'll give you the black and yellow ones, any iteration of them. One during the mid-90s, the away shirt. You could have the Clinton Morrison, Neil Mellor one with the Sheffield's Children's Hospice, like that one, the Puma one that we had. Like, again, we didn't do particularly well in that shirt, but I did really, really like it, even though every time I close my eyes, all I can see is Gary Teal and Chris Sedgwick in it. I also really like ignore the fact that it's Napoleon's Casino and that's now attached forevermore to Dave Allen. I really like the promotion shirt that we had at Cardiff. I thought that was a good one as well.
I do, but fucking hell, that sponsor, that just like that massive rectangle kind of fuzzy felt kind of feel to it. It was much better the next season when they just ditched the whole. No, we don't really need this big white box. We'll just have the actual letters. That were much better. But I do agree that certainly comes back to what we did in that kit, doesn't it? Really?
Yeah, and then I think the plus net one as well. I think it was like an 06, 07 Diodora one because all I can see is players in it. So again, all I can see is like Dion Burton, Bartosz Lazarski, Ben Sahar, like people like that in terms of like. That day where everybody clapped Dion Dublin off and he had a wonderful time.
Yes.
That particular kit was like, and for some reason as well, players seemed to wear long sleeves around that time. There was a lot of long sleeve shirts and they were so baggy and like really, really heavy. But again, around that sort of time, like it was quite a thick blue stripe. It was, it wasn't like really thin or anything like that. It seemed to be quite thick blue stripes. I think did we have a central badge on it as well, maybe?
Yeah, mine too. I'm just having a quick scan through now. One that I like, I didn't put it on there. The 2011-2012 away, is it that one or the? Yes, it was the one that had the big kind of embossed owl on it, the silver kit.
Yes,
that was quite nice. And then I don't think it was that kit, was it? I think it was a bit earlier where it had the kind of reflective little dots on the arm. That was 2004, 2005. That same season we got promoted in. That one was good. Cause you always tell when kids' parents couldn't really wash the clothes properly because they'd not washed it inside out and all them little dots were falling off the kit, whereas mine was still pristine. So thank my mum for that one. Same with that.
Please.
Same with that the Napoleon's badge on it. The home one. How amount of people I'd see with the sponsor just missing or half falling off. Thinking, what are you playing at?
And you can see the glue. You can see the glue where it's been on, and like you just got like half a Idora like stuck on.
Yeah. I mean, I know we're talking about good kits, but I can remember the one that just said Diodora, the blue one. Is it a away kit or a third kit? I can't remember. Is it 2002, 2003 away? We had Chupa Chups on the home one. For whatever reason, Chupa Chups didn't want to sponsor us for the away kit. And I can remember, I mean, I know we talk about the kits don't fit now because they're too small. Christ, back then, I mean, either that or maybe mum and dad said, he'll grow into it. Because the kit that I had was absolutely massive. I'd have been, 12, 13 at the time. I think it could have still fit me now if I still had it. But yeah, that was just like some of the kits we had was made out of awful material. They clearly didn't do any kind of testing and think, these people are going to run around a pitch in, actually exercising whilst wearing these. Because, that one was like made out of like a tablecloth type of material, that one.
Well, that's it. It's those early 2000s ones, because when you wear, like, if anybody's lucky enough to own like any of the old retro shirts, like they are big and oversized, but the material on them is still quite lightweight. When you go back into like the early 2000s ones, they are clearly a better material in terms of like what they are or supposed to be, But all I kept thinking on was, how heavy must this be if it's raining? Like, if it's chucking it down with rain, and especially when you were like, I don't know, those early 2000s, like 2004, 5, like if you were Chris Brunt, who was, 6 stone piss wet through and about 7 foot tall, it was just hanging off him like a flag. And you just think, like, it must have been so heavy. And then again, I think with kits, it goes back to that. You remember who played in them for you in the moments, don't you?
Yeah,
like that for me is what kits are. It's where it takes me back to. It's kind of like where my memories go. It's all of the little things off it. Because when I think back to that, the Cardiff, the promotion shirt, I think back to, like, I don't know, Glenn Whelan with the tuck in. I think John Paul McGovern with the mohawk. I think Craig Rocastle with the bumbling run through on the edge of the penalty area to square it back to him. I think Chris Brunt had some like finger sleeves on with like a Northern Ireland badge on them. It's all Steve McLean then coming on and he had the wrist wrap on. I think like Drew Talbot, where it was like he was wearing he was wearing his dad's shirt. Like all of those things you kind of again attributed to it. And I suppose like much younger Sheffield Wednesday fans will have that with the host and stay shirt from when we went up. And that host and stay shirt, I know for like from a modern day perspective, actually was one of our nicest looking shirts. But I remember when it came out thinking, I'm not sold on it. Like, I'm really not 100% sold on it. I don't think it's anything special. But that kit will forever be synonymous with that header and the comeback at Peterborough. But the yellow away kit for me will always be synonymous with Portsmouth away. Like, always. I will always, whenever I see that kid, my head will always go to Josh Windass sat down with Will Volks, Barry, what's his name, George Byers, like all in a line pretending to drive a car. Because it was snowing beforehand, wasn't it? And they couldn't get to training and they had to go pick them up. And
Windass picked them all up in like a people carrier or something like that. And that's where that came from. Do you know the only thing with that yellow kit, what's going to blur lines in kind of 10 years' time is the fact that we wore it the following season. Yeah. Obviously, and even though it wasn't the away kit, it was the third, but we never wore the away kit. We only kind of wore the yellow one. So when you like now when we're reminiscing and we're thinking back, I suppose the only difference is obviously we got promoted, so the team you're going to be playing against is probably going to tell you kind of what which year it was, but you'd be like thinking, was it 23, 24? Or was it 22, 23? I can't quite remember, but yeah, definitely. I do think last season's away kit, the like, what is it? It's not grey, is it? It's I suppose.
Like
I've no idea what they
call it.
Yeah, mucky white or something like that. I think that one is a good one. Yeah, off white. Yeah, I think I think it's something blue. I think it is actually that official colour is dusky blue or something like that. But anyway, right. Should we do a top three? Do you think the black third kit, can that get into top three yet?
You can take this one, James. You can take this one. You let me have the last one. You take this one.
Go on then. We'll go for night. I don't think a kit from this season that we've worn once and not won a game in yet can be classed as in a top. Like I mean, I'll give that the third. We'll go for. Let's go for the 93 home kit, and then we'll go Napoleon's Casino promotion shirt, just purely for the fact that, it was at Cardiff, we beat Hartlepool, and what a day that was, in me teens. So yeah, we'll go for that. Charles has said got a purple third kit, golden purple third kit from the 90s. Yes, that is an absolute banger.
Yeah,
that one. I do. Seems that we've been recreating away kits, obviously with the orange one from the 90s that we've got this season. I do feel like that could be another one that, again, for an easy tap in. The fact that we did the orange one this season and everyone went mad for it. I think if we did that one, I think again it would sell out like hotcakes. Yeah. Just on that, I was talking about doing the decorating today, which I'll be ranting and raving on extra time a little bit later on if you want to hear that one for all you decorators out there. But I put a tweet out, and then there's one woman that's done her son's bedroom, and it's an absolute belter. She's got there's an orange like panel. Then there's the blue and white for the home, and then there's a black one, and he even got like all the shirts hung, all the shirts hung up, and that, the name, like the lettering above it and everything. It looks absolutely amazing, and the badges, black and white badges for the away kit and the third kit. Yeah, looks really, really good. A lot better than my efforts. Anyway,
I was about to say she's whoever that was, they're a far better parent than me. Not a fucking chance. Not a chance.
Yes, same here. No, I'm not doing that one. If they come with some stickers, maybe. But right, let's get to the next one then. The next one coming up is going to be, we're rattling through these. 45 minutes gone, done a few. There's still loads to do. Defenders. It's landed on best defenders. Right, so go on. You can kick things off with one of yours that you've picked out.
Well, again, two of James's that are in there, because I couldn't believe he put a blade in there. I saw Michael Hector and Mark McGuinness, who I think I've been quite open and vocal on the podcast of being big fans of both of those players in more modern recent times. I think of the two, I preferred Michael Hector at the time that we had him, just because, again, my type of footballer. We played him. I'm sure we played him in defensive midfield a couple of times in that season that we had him on loan, and legitimately didn't look out of place. Looked genuinely very composed and very calm on the ball. And then when I went down to Southampton last year and watched Deschamps Bernard try and fail to make an imitation of it, I thought, we have come quite a long way, haven't we? Yeah. I put two in. I could have put Glenn Loovens in there. I didn't put Glenn Loovens in there. I thought he was a wonderful... I think he symbolised everything over the course of those early Chancery years for me, in terms of he came in when we were crap, and again at the tail end of his career, and just provided an incredibly stable head to that back four. But the two that I went for are before that time are Anthony Gardner and Reeder Johnson. I'll go with, obviously, Reeder Johnson to start with. Reeder Johnson, not the best footballer, any way, shape or form. I don't think any Sheffield Wednesday fan would try and kid themselves with that. But absolutely would do anything for the team and do anything for the club, and really connected with the fan base and bought into everything that was Sheffield Wednesday. And from that perspective, you could ask no more of him. I'm really pleased that he had his almost like his moment in the sun at Derby away on that opening day of the season when we'd first got promoted, 2012-13 season, where he scored that last minute header where he kind of like fell into the ball and it went into the back of the net. And the 6,000 of us who were there, I nearly did myself a right mischief that day, because I thought, in the madness of it all, I jumped up on top of a chair and then put my weight on the back of the chair, and one leg went down the back of it, so where it had folded back up, one leg went down the back of it, one leg went the other side of it, and I thank God I am 6'3", because otherwise, I would not have a family. Let's put it that way.
Ouch.
So
ouch.
yeah.
Just on that, I'm going to read you something, not not nearly losing your crown jewels, but just on Reeder Johnson, I'm going to read you some stats out. Stats from two players. One played 83 games and scored 15 goals. Another one played 75 games and scored 18 goals. Now, if I told you that the one that scored the 15 goals in 83 appearances was Jordan Rhodes, and then told you the one that played 75 games and scored 18 goals, 3 goals more, was Reeder Johnson. Reeder Johnson was more prolific as a goal scorer in less games than what Jordan Rhodes was at Sheffield Wednesday, which is a mental stat considering he was, a left back.
Yeah, and consider, you could, again, with the other names that I could have put on there, I could comfortably have put Lee Bullen in there, because I think he symbolised kind of a lot of what Sheffield Wednesday was in those early 2000s. Very, very try hard. I think when you go back and watch that excellent film that was put out by Matt Exton a number of years ago, the Wednesday film, where you'd go onto the extras on the DVD from there, and you listen to how he talks about the club and how passionate about it is. Again, it's all you can ask for as a fan, and I think Reeder Johnson fitted into that mould. The other one was Anthony Gardner, who wasn't at us for a very long time. I wish we had 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 him for a longer spell in his career, because I just thought he was such a composed footballer. He was so calm. He was every single thing that you want a centre-half to be, in terms of he could win headers, he could do all of the physical and horrible, nasty stuff, but then he could also play football. And again, I think when we were putting this, like when we were talking about putting this together, I was thinking about players who would fit straight into that Sheffield Wednesday side now under Danny Roll, and I think he is exactly what we were missing at this point in time, alongside somebody like Michael Hector, a centre half who is not necessarily quick, but doesn't need to be, because his positional sense was so good. He very, very rarely got out jumped for anything. And he'd win important challenges when he needed to. Amongst at that time when he was playing, I mean, it was a who's who of whoever's going to play at centre half, basically. But he was so composed on the ball, and actually
massive as well.
He's huge.
6'5", absolute giant of a man as well.
Yeah, for me, I think he was sort of like I suppose was like the start of like my really formative years of kind of, which has brought me up to now, of like the club really getting properly, deeply. I mean, I've always been a Sheffield Wednesday fan, and it's always been a huge part of me, but there was a point in my life where I was kind of like living away from kind of like home and universities and living abroad. And I think he was like right at the start of that period of where sort of like I got back into going to football really, really regularly, like week in, week out sort of thing. And every time I remember, or any time that he kind of crops up or somebody mentions him or anything like that, I always look back really fondly on him. He probably had a lot of shockers, but I don't remember him, so that's fine.
Yeah, definitely. Right, well, the elephant in the room, I'm probably thinking, who's this blade that Mappin's put in there? And I did stress at the top, it's favourite and not best. And again, it just kind of comes back to growing up and kind of, when I was, going down to Hillsborough and as a kid and stuff. So Derek Geary is the one that I've picked out, because I just... His work ethic just gave 110% all the time. Obviously, at that point, we had Alan Quinn as well, didn't we? And who was the other one? Owen Morrison. That kind of all came at a similar time, didn't they? Really, and we weren't doing great. We were quite shit, weren't we, at the time when Derek Geary was there? But just a small defender that just. I mean, I'm not too tall either, so I could kind of. Sympathise with him a little bit and relate, but just gave 110% all the time. Yes, he did go to United, and yes, if we were putting any kind of teams together, he'd just be crossed off that list immediately for that reason. However, like I said, I have to pick him in there if I'm being true to myself, just because growing up, that he was and to be replaced by Simek as well, which was just literally the American equivalent, just similar sort of stature. Again, gave 110%. But the other one, I've got Mark McGuinness. He never fall in love with a lone player, and we did it twice in 2 seasons with, or was it the same season? It was with Jordan Story and then Mark McGuinness.
No, you were right, 2 seasons. We had Jordan Story and Harley Dean the season before, and then Mark McGuinness came in for Bolton away, was his first game, and played left centre-back and was dead level with me the entire first half, and I remember thinking, how the fuck have we signed this kid?
Yeah, I mean, it's no surprise he's gone to Luton, really.
No.
You could just definitely see that. I think just how calm and composed on the ball, and an absolute nobody as well when he came to us. Nobody knew anything about him. But if if Chansiri could have found a couple of million, put his hand in his pocket and prize him away, then we would have had a real good centre back on his hands. Really, I mean, him or Story, to be honest. I thought they were both really, really good. But Mark McGuinness, what a player he is. Scored that goal against, I want to say, Shrewsbury, a header in the pissing rain at Hillsborough. That was a great header, that one. And I'm sure he's going to go and score more goals as well.
Newcastle as well at home, that FA Cup game, he was outstanding that night. Like, I again, all that never fall in love with a lone player, twinge with nostalgia type of thing. He was unbelievable that night. And the celebrations when the final whistle went, and there's that, when you go back and watch the highlights on BBC, and sort of like him and Cameron Dawson tear to one another, and it genuinely looked like he was, really, really, he looked like he was really, really wanting to stay, and I'm sure that there was reports around the time of him wanting to stay. Couple of honourable mentions, if you don't mind, James, of players who missed out for me.
Yeah, go on.
John Harkes was one.
All right,
Main
okay.
reason being, one of my earliest memories of being a Sheffield Wednesday fan was watching I'm sure it was I can't remember when the goal was. It was the one that he scored, which was an absolute rocket at the baseball ground. And it was like 92, 93. And I used to watch that VHS on loop just constantly. I'm surprised the tape never wore out. But yeah, he was one. Mark Beavers and Tommy Spur, I think, are worth a mention as well, because
Yes.
do you remember when they first broke into the team and like everyone was like, oh my God, we're producing youth players? Like what is this? And yeah, I remember Mark Beavers' hairstyle. I just remember thinking, fucking hell, he's so cool, man. Like, he's so cool. Like, he like straightens his hair and he's like a hard hitting centre half. Liam Palmer as well would have been stupid again not to mention in this list. I think because he's still playing, I wouldn't have felt comfortable of putting him in this. I think in years to come, I will look back at Liam Palmer and think, my God, like, irrespective of how much he might have frustrated me kind of like through the mid 2010s in terms of like some of the performances that he put in, like legitimately what a player he has been for Sheffield Wednesday. And I think whenever it is, whether it's the end of this season, next season, whenever it does come that he does either leave or retire from Sheffield Wednesday, I don't think he will ever be short of somebody buying him a beer, if nothing else for that Peterborough moment.
Just such a nice guy as well. Like, just such a nice person. He's not a bad bone in him, really, when you look at it. Chaz has come with a few. He's gone for Walker, I'm guessing Des Walker, Dan Petrescu, and Emerson Tome as well. Again, very, very 90s there. But
so I've got one on Emerson Tome here. Do you remember when he come back to Hillsborough? I think it was with Derby, and he got clapped off after a sub. And I remember thinking, what the fuck is the fuss about? That's literally all I remember from that game was him getting clapped. I think we lost. I remember just being sat there thinking, what the fuck is he getting clapped off for? But actually, again, that probably goes back to I probably was not old enough to remember him properly playing for us.
Yeah, I mean, he played for some great clubs. You know, went to Chelsea, didn't he? Straight after us. Sunderland, Bolton, Wigan, but played for Benfica. That's where we signed him from. Great player. I spoke to him as well. Did the interview with him, and just such a guy. Got all his shirts behind him. Just loves the game. Just absolutely loves the game of football, and I love that as well. When players actually collect the swap kits and stuff like that, or get kits from players they've played against. Because end of the day, like, some people frown upon it, don't they? Swapping shirts and all this, that, and the other. But like, you're just a human being at the end of the day. Like, you've got to do these things when you get old, and you can look back on who you've. I mean, Christ, the the Maradona shirt went for $10 million or whatever it was. So even if if you're short of a few quid, you can flog a few. Not sure how many people want an Emerson Tome match worn shirt against, I don't know, whoever.
There'll be someone out there.
Well, yeah, I'm sure there will be. It's not going to go for 10 million, is it? That's for sure. Maybe a couple of £100, maybe. Right, let's have a top three then. Who's going at Reader Johnson? He's Mr. Sheffield Wednesday, and that's surely got to be number one.
I was going to say the other two we definitely agree on in terms of Michael Hector and Mark McGuinness. Like, I know I made a very impassioned speech for Anthony Gardner, but again, I agree with you on the other two. Like,
there you go then. Michael Hector and Mark McGuinness is 2 and number 3 as well. Let's do the next one then. Let's see what else we can talk about. Lot to go for. We're definitely not going to get through them all. Beers. Oh, another a daft one there. Disclaimer: mine aren't beers technically. Should be alcoholic
mine
drinks.
aren't either.
Do you know what? Growing up, I hated beer and lager, anything like that. But then obviously as you get older, you just, well, I say by older, like 16, 17, you acquire a taste. Not that we're going out drinking before that, but you know what I mean. Your dad's like, oh, I'd have a taste. And I'm like, disgusting.
That's horrible.
Yeah, horrible. I'm thinking to myself, like, what am I going to do when I get to 18 if I don't like beer? Like, they were like genuine thoughts.
I remember
that going through my head, thinking, like, I fucking hate it. It's horrible. But then, yeah, you just kind of, I can remember like the first time I went out, like forcing myself to drink it. But then you just get a taste for it. So now it's, absolutely fine. I'm not into the ales, like not a chance. So I could drink a lager, but yeah, cider's my drink. I mean, some of it's like pop.
Yeah.
It's because damn, so especially warm summer's day, drinking a cider, absolute, all good. Mine, I've gone for Aspel's. I mean, do you know what? Way back when, I used to like Magners, but no, now if you drink a pint of Magners, I mean, you don't really get it anywhere. It's horrible.
No.
Like, how did you even like that back then?
No, it's rank. Absolutely rank.
Aspel's, I like the glass that it comes in, that kind of like tulip type glass. Just on that, are you bothered about what glass it comes in? Like, if you get a pint of whatever, does it have to come in that glass or?
Only thing that I am fussed about if it has to come in the right glass is a Guinness. But aside from that, no, I'm not asked. Like, legitimately couldn't care less. Like, occasionally you'll get like a really nice one that comes out. Like, I remember originally it was like Cobra, and it was like that really slim, slender one. And then Peroni bought out like a really nice looking, slim, slender one. But it's like, I went to, I saw a couple of my mates on Friday down here, and like Carlin's the flavour of the month down here because it's brewed not too far away in Burton. And the glass come, and I just thought, I swear I've just been looking at the same glass like of Carlin, like that design for fucking years, like that little one where it's got like it etched out and all the rest of it.
Yes.
But yeah, I'm with you, James. I am not a lager drinker. I am much more a cider up until it feels like my teeth are falling out. Because it does. Like, I mean, like there's the one on the list that you've got here, which is Recordling Strawberry and Lime. My good God, I could drink those until they're going out of fashion. However, you get, I don't know, say 6 or 7 into those, and genuinely you think, oh God, I've got to go see a dentist on Monday because this is just, I've got another layer of teeth growing here. It's so bad with the sugar.
Furry teeth, like thinking like that your teeth are like squeaky. that much
And
sugar.
then follow it day after, it doesn't matter how many, you can brush them 4 times, it'll still feel rough. I would add,
really bad.
there's two that I would add in there. I would add Old Moat cider. I really like that. Like, that stuff is nice. 3. I like the Thatcher's, the Blood Orange, and the Cloudy Lemon one. Those are 2 really good ones. They're not like a overly bearing sweet. But then the other one that I will add into that is Guinness. Now, I will preface this. Apologies if there are any serious Guinness heads into this, like where they have to have the Guinness label facing Dublin, and they've got to, kiss it, and they've got to split the G every time that they drink. Because there are, apologies if this is you, but there are some people who drink Guinness who are fucking weird with it, like really weird with it. Like you have a sip of it and they're like, no, you can't do that. You're like, what do you mean? Well, no, you've got to get it down to the G. You've got to like split the G on your first sip, and you think,
fuck off.
Drink. yeah. And that, oh my God, it really does irritate. And then there are some bit, like, again, there's a large Irish contingent down in Birmingham, and there's a big Irish quarter in Birmingham, and there are some places where they will hand it to you with the Guinness label facing Dublin and the direction that Dublin is in from. And I just think, oh my God, this is fucking, it's a drink. Like,
have you seen it where they print the picture on the top as well?
Yeah.
Have you seen it? I mean, that's
And then the one thing that is the worst about Guinness is, when someone has a sip of it and then they go, tell you what, tastes better in Ireland. And you think, oh my God, it's not the same. I don't know what it is. It's different. It's this. I just think, oh my God, like, just give it a rest. But yeah, I'm with you. If you were looking to get through this one quickly, I will happily take Copperberg, Recordling, and chuck a Guinness in there just for balance's sake.
I'll read Welsh Owl's gone with Carling Premier is the king of beers. Well, if we're being technical about it, Budweiser is the king of beers. As far as their marketing goes, but yeah, I mean, I can drink anything. In the new barrack, I made the fatal mistake, and my dad went to the bar and he said, "What do you want at side?" I went, "Which one?" I went, "Oh, any." He come back with like, yeah, you know what's gonna happen here, don't you? It was like dirty dishwater. Like the
scrumpy.
Jesus Christ! I just said I'll drink anything. I draw the. I mean, some of them was all right, but it was just flat. There was like no fizz. Because obviously it doesn't have any fizz in it, but honestly, it was disgusting.
You got to chew through it like
vile.
Oh, God.
Yeah, like bits in it. Like
Yeah, it's horrible. It's like bits of peel just still in it. You're just thinking, oh, fucking gear rest.
Yeah, it must have cost about, well, probably the cheapest one. But anyway, yeah, that was a fatal mistake that I made on that one. Right, let's go to the wheel again. Let's go to the next one. Let's see if we can have something else Wednesday related this time. And it's going to be not Wednesday related at all. It's going to be animated films. We'll whiz through this one. Animated films. Go on.
Mine's really simple here, James. It's Toy Story 1, 2, and 3, and any other answer's wrong.
Do you know what? I put Toy Story down as one of mine, and I was going to do exactly the same, but I thought, nah, I can't do that. I've got Toy Story. I think great film there.
Unreal.
Despicable Me, just for the Minions. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was great that they brought out a film just with Minions in it. And then I've gone for Up as well, because I think that's that's a nice pulls on the heartings on that one, but it is
heavy.
When you watch it with the kids, and you're like, yeah, I'm fine. I'm fine.
I'm fine. Just leave me alone. Just go over there. You're fine.
Let's go get a drink.
To be fair, Michael's thrown two belters in here. He's put Finding Nemo, Shrek 1 and 2. I would also like to add Cars 2 into that, because when my son was younger, I got onto Cars 2 and he was obsessed with it for ages. And I swear by the end of it, it's not even for him then, it's for me. Like, I'm fully invested in Lightning McQueen's journey for world dominance. Properly into it.
There's sometimes when I'm watching, I've got two young kids, one's 6, the one's 3, and yeah, there's times I've been watching films with them and they're fast asleep, and I could just turn it off, but I'm still just watching it, just like thinking, yep, this is like you said there, it is for me, not for them. Just on that, my daughter, she's mad into Stitch at the moment. Apparently that's like a thing now. Anyway, she got the sticker book, so of course, buying in the stickers every time we go to the supermarket. Of course, Freddie wants to do something as well, so we bought him the card, like the Premier League cards. He's only 3. I don't think he's really doing it. I think it's me that's actually 100% filling them in. So yeah, Fred, do you want some Premier League cards? No. Yeah, well, I've bought you 7 packs. So here you go. Do you want to open them one? He's bored after the first one, but I'm still there putting them all in.
The car ripping them all open.
Yeah, he's saying to me, Dad, I can just take them all out. No, we can't take them out of the binder. They're all in number order. You cannot take them out. So yeah, that is definitely for me, that one. Right, let's. We've done that one. Is it going to be a Wednesday one? Is it going to be a Wednesday one? The answer is, it's going to stop on. Guys, fast food restaurants. Where's the Wednesday ones? Where's the Wednesday?
I can go through these quick. I can go through this one quick as well, James.
Go on,
if you'd like.
Go on.
Right. I'll give you my top 3 of like those chains. I will go Subway. For me, has got to go in at number 1. Subway is outstanding. So good. I will then take a Burger King.
What's your go-to?
I'm going foot-long Italian herbs and cheese with chicken and bacon, cheese and toasted, lettuce, tomatoes, Southwest sauce, 3 cookies for $1.20, and a refillable drink. Job done. There we go.
I go for foot-long, any bread, don't really give a shit. Italian herbs and cheese, probably. Toasted, yes, cheese on it, and then either Italian BMT or... the meatball marinara, but it depends on what I'm wearing and where I'm going. Like if I'm at home, then I can have that one. If I'm out, then not a chance, because I would be wearing that 100%. Salad, I'm a bit of a salad dodger, so just peppers and onions and a bit of barbecue sauce. Easy, job done. Yeah,
Simple.
Meal, cookie, any of them. I'm a nightmare, me. I just go any. Whatever, like, and definitely a refillable drink as well, or Lipton's iced tea.
If you're going, if you're taking away, it's a Lipton's iced tea or fuck all. Like, it's no. Let's not fuck about with like Sprite Zero or anything like that. No, it's a Lipton's iced tea, because then if you went like wholemeal bread, it's basically healthy. So we're all right there.
Definitely. Go on. What's number 2?
The second one for me is Burger King, and I will die on this hill that I prefer it over McDonald's. I will happily die on this hill of Burger King over McDonald's, because again, I'm going in there for the bacon double cheeseburger, fries, Occasionally, again, depends on how long the away day has been, and if you're going back through Marylebone, you'll also then maybe have to add a chicken royale on top of it, and then obviously your drink as well.
You only see Burger Kings at service stations or
100%.
outside, or just on down Penistone Road. There's that one there. I know there's one at Entertainment as well, but you never go there ever. But you just never ever see Burger King at all.
Nope.
But yeah, go on then. Number 3.
Then I think it starts getting a bit hazy because I'd probably just then settle for like KFC. KFC is so easy. Like again, Zinger Tower meal, nice and simple. Gravy on the side, like obviously.
Yeah, you have to have gravy. You're not having beans. Like who has beans at KFC? Animals. Do you know what KFC
in Sheffield, do they even serve beans at KFC? Like there's no self-respecting Yorkshireman walking in there when there's gravy on the menu and ordering beans. Like I agree. I'm surprised I haven't got Henderson's relish on there as well. Oh yeah, now we're talking.
do you know what? KFC though, the thought is always better than the reality. I always find
100%.
Yeah, maybe I'm going to put that in the disappointments section. I've gone Taco
Feeling
Bell.
of shame post KFC.
Yes, I've gone Taco Bell. I like the Taco Bell. I'm not really bothered about the churros at the end, but got a crunchy beef. Then what do they call that cheese thing that they have with the chicken in it? I feel what they call it now. But yeah, that's always quite nice. I've gone McDonald's because that's just simple in it. You know what you're getting from McDonald's, easy in it. And then I've gone Whitby's fish and chips. There's one literally just down the road from me, and I've been there far too many times. I'm surprised we're not on first name terms with the people behind the counter. To be honest, it's always like that.
Question:
Go on.
Do you go in your slippers?
No, I don't. I just put me.
Is it Chippy Tea on a Friday in slippers? Because that's the proper British institution. That.
The thing is, I don't own a pair of slippers, but I have got a pair of Crocs. So, and them I like nip into the car shoes. They're not, I don't wear them out anywhere.
Yeah.
But
your Croc radius hasn't got to like the shops. It's just got to the car.
I have been to Whitby's in my Crocs, so I have stretched that far. I've not been to Morrison's though in my Crocs either, so it's not gone that far. But yeah, I do like a good fish and chips. Right, let's do another one.
Expensive one I'll chuck in there is Five Guys as well, James. Like Five Guys if you're really looking to treat yourself. But second mortgage.
And why is it always like kind of on the edge all the time? Can't it just be in the middle? Anyway,
suspense.
It's away days next. Favourite away days that we've had. I'm sure there's been a lot. I mean, I say I don't go to many, so I'll go straight off the bat. Blackburn last season was absolutely fantastic. I think it was the fact that we got out of the bottom 3 for the first time all season. The fact that there was a banger of a goal in Josh Windass that we lobbed him. He had everything that game. We went ahead. We got pegged back. Then it had a great goal by Marvin Johnson in the second half. Goals at both ends as well. And then just that third goal, the fact that it came so soon after, and it was an own goal, like just to kind of top it all off. The fact that there was 7,000 Wednesdayites there. Both tiers of that away end, they were giving it some. The Blackburn fans, especially when Smodic scored and he cupped his ear, the wanker. But yeah, I think he scored at Hillsborough as well, didn't he? And we beat them. Was that 4-1 as well? I want to say we hammered them at home, didn't we? So yeah, 2 goals against us, but didn't come away with any points. But no, just the whole. It wasn't just the performance. I think it was just like the build up to the game as well. The fact that we needed to win, we had to win. There was a lot of pressure on, and yeah, that one for me is definitely up there. Now I'm sure, as you go home and away religiously, I'm sure you've got plenty to go at on this.
There was again, just while you've been talking there, I've just been thinking. Right, I've got to put a couple of honourable mentions in here. One's for that MK Dons 3-2. The Barry Bannon screamer, the Bannon screamer, the Lee Gregory header, the Saido Berahino fumble through the goalkeeper, because it was such a pressurised game. 5:15, 5:30 kickoff. Yes. Both teams were absolutely flying, and being 3-0 up inside of half an hour does not happen to Sheffield Wednesday.
Yeah.
Like being 3-0 up in those type of games just does not happen at all. And I remember my group chat, none of whom who are Sheffield Wednesday fans, were all like frantically messaging, and whenever you could get like your phone signal batter through like 20 messages at once. And when the third one went in, I've got a photo on my phone of me saying, it's me just laughing, like literally just laughing, because I could not believe that goal had gone in from Bannon. And then of course it ended up nervy towards the end of it. That was also one of the best. We saw two belters of a free kick from Scott, two great goals from Scott Twine that year, didn't we? The one at Hillsborough, and then the free kick in that one, which meant nothing.
Who was the other guy? Troy Parrott was the other.
Yeah,
other
Troy
guy
Parrott.
Where's he nowadays?
He was from Spurs, wasn't he? He was on loan from Spurs. Go on.
You would never guess where he is. Absolutely, not in a million years guess at all.
Is he in England?
No.
Right. Okay, I'm out.
AZ Alkmaar.
No,
in
would never have
Netherlands.
guessed. No, absolutely nowhere.
Where does someone it was at Tottenham, Millwall, Ipswich, MK Dons, you mentioned. Then he was at Preston. He spent last season at Excelsior in where's that? Is that a Dutch? I think it's a Dutch team.
I think it is. Yeah.
A Dutch team, and then he's at Alkmaar. So he's obviously stayed in the Eredivisie, but I would never have guessed that in a million years. But yeah, there we go.
The other honourable mention that I was going to give was for Ellen Road for Leeds, with the Jacob Murphy one at the near post, and then the New tap in late on, because I think anybody who watched that game or who was in attendance that day, we got absolutely battered that game. They were outstanding, and then Jacob Murphy scored from still when you watch that goal back, it's an absolutely ridiculous angle that he scored from. I know people will mention New in the snow there, like as
yes.
whenever that comes up, but that was a really, really good day. I think just because of like nobody expected it, like Morgan Fox and Cameron Dawson tearing into the away end and jumping in with everybody and all the rest of it. Yeah, that was a really good game.
Was you there at Forest? When
the Forestieri one? No, I was away for the Forestieri. So I was away. It was a February half term. So I took my now wife away and was proposing to her on the Monday, and we landed, and the whole flight booking and the whole things was surrounding me being able to watch that game. Like the whole thing was surrounded. I've been really unlucky with Forest because I missed the Jordan Rhodes hat trick as well. I was at a wedding. I was best man at a wedding for that one. But yeah, and the bride's brother is a really big Forest fan. So I was thrilled. I was absolutely thrilled. It was the first thing I mentioned in my speech. Like, first thing I mentioned was, has anybody seen the Forest score today? And just heard from the other side of the room, will you shut the fuck up?
Love it.
The ones that I raced to, we've mentioned it before. Derby 2012 with the Reader Johnson one, the first game after the promotion season. That was outstanding. I was torn then between Charlton, the 2019 where we won 3-1, where it was on Sky, early doors. It was a 12:30 kickoff, 2018-19 season, I think it was, where it was. I remember Forestieri missed a sitter, Stephen Fletcher scored 2, and New scored late on in that, and that was a really good day. But I think for that season, where it all then started sadly falling off a cliff, was Charlton away when everybody was singing "Now You're Going to Believe Us, the Wednesday's going up."
Which, you know what,
we
I was
went
looking through.
I'm cruising.
I was looking through for extra time with talking about kind of poor starts that we've had to the season and stuff like that. And I was looking through, and then I forgot how good we actually were in that season. We hardly lost a game, and to think, and I see that as. Obviously, we went up, we beat Barnsley, but I kind of see that season as a little bit of a failure that we didn't go up automatic. But you're looking, literally, any other season, we would have gone up automatic. 100%. So, meant that run that we had, that long unbeaten run, like literally unbelievable. The
season before, you could level that at us, couldn't you? Like, legitimately, the season before, you could level that at us because we were away from home, we were terrible, and we still couldn't win a game. Ironic, we can't win a game from if we go behind now, but we couldn't win a game if we were behind in that. Like, I remember it being it was Shrewsbury away, where it was absolutely pissing it down. We lost 1-0. And we were, I think at the time, around 8th or 7th, or anywhere between 9th and 7th. And I remember thinking, we aren't going to go up this year. And then we went on that run towards the end of the season where Sunderland also seemed to match us stride for stride.
Yeah.
As did MK Dons. And MK Dons at that point looked favourites to go up, didn't they? And then they ballsed it up and ended up in the playoffs. So yeah, that Charlton game in the 22-23 season, and then I think everything really was just so good about it. I think the Charlton the season before as well, where it was the first game back after COVID. From a fan perspective, I don't know about anybody else, and COVID was very different for everybody. But I think the thing that I missed most was going to the games, and kind of being in and around sort of a Sheffield Wednesday family, because even if you don't know that many people when you can go to a game on your own, and you can start. Like I went to that game on my own and stood next to some bloke who I've never seen before, and for 90 minutes you've got something to talk about and you completely bond over it. That was a really good game and a good day out. The Chelsea in the FA Cup was another good one. The game was shit, but the actual day out surrounding it was really good. And also the Birmingham City away in the piss down rain with Gary Hooper and Fernando Forestieri, who scored the season that we got to Wembley, because we had all manner of goalkeeping problems that day. I think, was it Kieran Westwood? Kieran Westwood started, then came off. Then we had, was it Lewis Price who came on in goal? And nothing was really going our way. We were.
Is that the one with the guy in the hospitality?
Yeah, it's the face one. Yeah, the guy.
Which ironically, you mentioned about goals coming from games coming from behind. That was for a long time the last one where we had actually come from behind to win a game, which for ages. If you had to categorise them 1, 2, and 3, which ones you?
100%. I'll agree with you on Blackburn. Blackburn was genuinely outstanding. I thought Blackburn was great. Again, from my own perspective, I would probably then put Derby in there, and I would. I think from the ones that we've said, I'd probably put that Charlton 22-23 one. But again, there'll be loads that I've missed out. Like Brentford away in the playoffs in the year that we went up was again another belter. There's loads that are in there, and everybody will hold different ones to themselves.
Definitely. Right, let's see. Probably got time for one, maybe two more before we wrap things up. Right, let's go. Disappointments.
Pies.
Yes, it's gone. We've got disappointments in there, which I think is. As Wednesday fans, we could go for so many. The list could be absolutely endless. I've gone for one, Peterborough away. Now you put Peterborough.
I'm so glad I had a job interview.
On it, you can put Peterborough at home in, obviously, best home games. It falls into so many, in terms of like moments and goals and limbs and whatever else. But yeah, Peterborough away. I remember going down, buzzing. It's Peterborough. We finished out. We were counting how many points, like 15 points ahead of them or whatever it was. Ridiculous. Yeah, it's going to be an easy game. We're going to beat them at their place, and it's going to be a nice, easy game at Hillsborough in a few days' time. And yeah, I can remember just stood in that away end. I mean, we went down fairly early on. We were in that kind of boozer that's at the side of the canal. Which is massive. The strangest toilets I've ever seen in a boozer before. Yep. But if you've been, you'll know exactly what I mean about that. But again, walking to the ground just in high hopes, like just thinking, almost arrogant in the way that we went. And yeah, to walk away, I mean, stayed to the bitter end and 4-0, absolutely battered. Like, I mean, I don't think we were unlucky that day, but we should at least scored 1 or 2. I was just thinking to myself, like, if it were 4-2, we were going to have at least a little bit of a chance. But then just, I was heading down thinking, we're going to play these championship sides next season, and I remember coming back in the car, thinking, well, it's going to be Shrewsbury again, and Leyton Orient, yeah, really shit teams. Like, can't be doing with this. And I remember doing a Twitter Spaces as well, and it was kind of like a bit of a blur, really, just just doing that. Everyone just so pissed off, so angry, so annoyed. So yeah, that's a disappointment because I went into that so positive. Go on, what's one of yours?
I had Palace at home, same vein, 09-010 season where we got relegated.
Leon Clark, that one.
And to be absolutely crystal clear, we fucking deserved to go down that season. We were god awful that season. And Palace were only down there for a points deduction. But again, I just thought going to the game, being in and around it, I just remember thinking we've probably got enough here to, Hillsborough does, I mean, we've all experienced it, haven't we? Like, Hillsborough does strange things to teams on those sort of like big games where the crowd is there.
Yeah.
And I remember that Ambrose goal going in front of the Leppings Lane end. And occasionally at Hillsborough, you do get that sinking feeling, don't you, where you just think it's not happening. Like it's not, and that wasn't for lack of trying from the players that were on the pitch. And I think a lot of players have come out post then and said, for the side that we had, we should have done better than that season. But actually, that the dressing room was not right, and that there were a lot of poor characters in it. We had that, that period of instability where we'd sort of like flitted around sort of managers, and it had come to the end of that Brian Laws era. And was it Irvine who was in charge that day? But I just remember thinking, coming away from that and then watching them all tear onto the pitch, and then people all tearing out of the north trying to like get at them. I just remember thinking it might be quite a long way back here, because that rebuild felt a long, that rebuild that Megson did when he came in, and then ultimately the work that Dave Jones did to get us over the line, it felt an awful long way away.
Weren't it Darren Pearson? He missed it.
Yeah,
not City.
He scored. He scored and then missed one at the end. There was Francis Jeffers had a chance as well. There was a couple of them.
I'm just going to read the team that day: Lee Grant, Tommy Spur, Pearce, Beavers, Nolan, Potter, O'Connor, Johnson, Tudgate, Clark, and Varney, and Tom Soares came on for Clark at half time because he bust his toe and he kicking the chuffing advertising hoarding like an absolute clown. But yeah, just that is the massive disappointment. Barnsley away that same season, the season we came up.
That was a horrible night.
Yeah, really bad. Just the fact that, we got it back to 2-2, I want to say. And then it's just that when you're in an away end and the opposition score, especially when it's packed out as well, that noise is horrible. And then they play the tunes as well. They play the songs that they have, and you're just stood there like, fuck off. Do you know what I mean? But it's just going on and on and on. It's horrible. And obviously, if it being Barnsley as well, just couldn't believe it. Especially we got back to 2-2. It's 2-0, 2-2. And then you're thinking, well, I genuinely thought we're just going to win this game. Like, back to 2-2, nothing's stopping us. Because obviously we're on fire. Did that stop the run? No, Forest Green stopped the run. And it was the game after Forest Green
stopped the run. Yeah.
And I was thinking, that was just a blip. We're going to get back to winning ways. And then, walking back, obviously Barnsley is the one where literally the coppers don't give a shit and they just let the away fans just mix with all the home fans. And I was absolutely seething that day. That was definitely a disappointment. You've got another same scoreline, haven't you, on your list?
I've got two, seeing as we're on the theme of local rivals. Sheffield United at home. That was, again, at the time, I've spoken about this before, at the time, that was really the signifier of the start of the decline for us from around that kind of like height of Chancery. When that Lucas João goal hit the back of the net in front of the Kop, there was one team in that game. One team. You could go back to that moment and replay it any single time. You listen to the commentary from it, from Sky, you listen to anything else. And that game was only going one way. Gary Hooper scores just before half-time. We'd been sucker punched twice in terms of we just didn't expect United to start that fast. And then straight from the kickoff. Do you know what? I will say it now. Like, I'm not surprised United fans still sing about it. I'm not surprised United fans still try and throw it in your face. Because, let's be honest, if that happens at Bramall Lane on the 10th of November, and we go and do exactly what happens there, fucking hell, will they never hear the end of it. And that was, they were, I remember, again, so you were talking about the arrogance. I remember going into that game thinking, yeah, they've had a good start, but look at the fucking side. Like, it's fuck all, like, compared to ours.
Yeah. I mean, you're right when you say we'll be singing about it. I mean, we sing about a game that we played in 1979 still. So, so yeah, 100% we'd be definitely singing about it. Another one for me, Sunderland at home. 21-22, the playoff game again. Yeah, similar. It's just all these are all similar. It's that feeling. It's like games where you're confident going into it, and I was fairly confident going into that. We were 1-0 down after the first leg, and I thought we're still in this. All right, we've got to go for it, and then to get a goal, Gregory score, and then and you're just again thinking, well, extra time. Penalties. I really fancied us, and then absolute sucker punch right at the death. You could other than obviously all the Mackems going absolutely mental in the away end, but you could hear a pin drop in the home end, couldn't you? Because it was weird. There was 100%. No kind of normally it's like a fuck's sake or like a bit of a that kind of cheer or like come on, but obviously it was right at the end. There was none of that. It was just silence. It was just horrible feeling again.
I always think it's perforated by a really high-pitched female scream. Like always, it's silence. You hear that away end erupt, and there's somebody just screaming like no or what. I'm not sure what the noise is, but you can hear it, and it's awful because also the other thing is as well. It's not just the noise; it's the bodies that go off in an away end like that. Like, because it is literally just chaos and carnage. And don't get me wrong, it's amazing when you're involved in it. Like, it's absolutely, when you look back at the footage from the Peterborough game, when you look back at the footage from the Josh Windass goal that goes in at Wembley, like it's different to like a celebration, like Watford away when UU scores. It's different to like your normal celebration. It's literally just bodies everywhere, and it's arms going everywhere, and it's people with very zero regard for their safety, which looks different to like a goal that goes in December in the last minute. It looks very, very different.
I'd love to know what it was like. That Peterborough game that you mentioned. Obviously the Peterborough game. Yeah. From a Peterborough perspective, being stood in that way, like I bet that was absolutely awful. Like, I bet you'd not sleep for days after. I mean, I didn't sleep for days after. I remember just being laid in bed, just like trying to consume as much content. My eyes like on stalks, like fucking hell. Yeah. But for them, it just, probably just how I felt driving back from London Road. But times 10, I would have thought. Right, let's wrap things up there. Go on, the top three out of those disappointments.
Go on. I think you've got to have Peterborough away in there, just for the redemption arc of where it came round. I'm going to make a case for United at home. I think that 100%. In my Sheffield Wednesday supporting time is the worst that I've ever felt at a football match.
Definitely.
After that, James, I am happy because it is a toss-up between Barnsley, Sunderland, and Palace, and all three of them are sinful evenings at watching football in there.
Let's go for the Barnsley one just because it's against them again. Just it was just that feeling, the fact, and then just them gloating as well. I work with a few Barnsley fans as well, and just can't stand them. But not for the fact that they support Barnsley, not actually them as people. Just want to put that out there. But right. Let's wrap things up there because we've been talking. Look, there's loads more on the list. We could have gone on for absolutely hours and hours. So we'll have to save this topic for another time. Maybe we'll carry this on at the next international break, which falls on my birthday weekend, as it always does whenever we're in the Championship, which really annoys me. There's never a game on my weekend. I think England are playing the day after my birthday, but anyway, that's fine. We are going to
tense one this year, James. Sorry, mine's a very tense one this year on the 10th of November.
Yes, very, very, very. Definitely. Could go either way.
Either way.
Well, the way we're playing at the moment, it might be going on
one way at the minute.
Yeah, definitely. Right. if you want to hear us talk about Wednesday for another half an hour, 40 minutes, or however long it's going to be, then head over to patreon.com/WTID pod, and you can listen to us. We're talking a bit about. Well, the question was, where the fuck does our money go? From one of our Patreon members. So yeah, we're going to be. I've had a little look on the accounts, see what. No, by no way an accountant. So if you're looking there for some insightful knowledge, sorry to disappoint you, but yeah, I have looked in a few at the accounts since Transseries come. And there is a few things to point out which we'll talk about, and also kind of looking back on. The first 3 games of the season, and the fact that we always make a bit of a poor start to the season over the last however many years it's been. Seemingly every single season has been a bit of a poor start. So yeah, head over there, patreon.com/WTID pod, and we'll see you. We'll see you next time. Cheers, guys.